So now that we've learned about the out variables, we're in the same project, in the same solution, and we're going to, in the same code, learn about the throw expressions. So in C#7, we're able to use throw exceptions inside of our ternary operators and inside of our null coalescing. Let's go ahead and see how it can be used. First of all, you remember what the ternary operator is, right? You give it a condition. Let's say you say, you have var a equals 10, and then you can go ahead and say something like, var b equals, and then you can have your ternary operator. Let's say if a is greater than 11, then this is the ternary operator. You put a question mark, and then if it is true, you do something. You say, return 9, and then if it's false, then you return 8, right? It's a very silly example, but you get the point, just to show you or remind you what ternary operator look like. So this is saying if, and then if it's true, you do this. If it's false, you do that, right? So before, you weren't able to throw exceptions in each possibility. However, in C#7, you're able to do that, and we're going to go ahead and see how it is done. So let me say this. I will say return, and then in my return, I will say the following. I will say this is my condition, and please note in here it says if it's not able to be converted, then we throw an exception. In my return though, I will say the following. I will say convert that, and if the conversion does not go well, then we'll throw an exception. If it goes well, however, which is what this is going to return, if it goes well, so try parse will return true. If it returns true, then go ahead and return back the converted number. Otherwise, return an exception. And you'll see that it's possible to do that. See, just a one-liner. We can actually get rid of these two lines, and there you go. So it says return double, try parse, and we're saying convert this number to converted number, which is a double. And then, once again, you can turn this into a var. In this case, we'll leave it as double. And if it's able to be converted, then return that converted number back. Otherwise, return an exception. Very clean, very concise. Now you'll see that if I go to Visual Studio 2015, and I open up the same solution, let's go ahead and open up the same solution. So Simple Calculator. You will see that we can't do that. And, it has actually two errors. One is it's not able to recognize the out variable. Second, it's not able to figure out why it's using throw exception inside of a ternary operator. So we'll actually go ahead and do this. We'll say, okay, even if I use the out variable the way I was using it before, so it's backwards compatible with the older version. See, it's not outlined as red. Still can't figure out how to use the throw exception inside of a ternary operator, because the old way, it expected two of the same type, so different possibilities, but had to have the same type. So in this case, if we had another double, then it would have, let's say I say double, second answer or something, and I say this, right? And I'm actually going ahead and returning that. That would have worked because they're the same type. However, an exception is a different type. In its eyes, this is an exception. It's a different type. It's a different type than the double. So it's saying, I can't handle that. So in C#7, if I actually go ahead and close this up, and no, we don't want that. We actually wanted to say out double, so, convert to C#7. In C#7, we are able to do that. So we're able to say, okay, converted number, get the converted number. If this method returned true, then return back the converted number. Otherwise, throw an exception. So we're able to inline this because we're able to use throw expressions in our ternary operators. So the second place where you can use the throw expression is in null coalescing. So we have that example actually in our word unscrambler. Let's go ahead and open that. And you'll see that in here we have null coalescing. We're saying if this comes back as null, then give back an empty string. But what if we wanted to return an exception? Let's open up Visual Studio 2015 again. And let's open up the same project, which is World Unscrambler. Let's go ahead here and say not simple web scraper, word unscrambler. You'll see when I open this up, let's go ahead and actually open up the project and the file within the project, which is here. If I say, right, so this is our 2017 and this is our 2015. So in 2015, if I say, hey, whenever the option is, comes back as null, I want to throw an exception. Let's go ahead and try that out. If I say throw new exception and then say blah, I wouldn't be able to do that because it doesn't know how to handle that, right? It says invalid expression term throw. So it doesn't know how to handle that. However, if I go to C# 7, which is in my Visual Studio 2017, and I basically put that line here, it's able to handle it just fine. And that is a C# 7 feature. So we've seen that throw expression can be used in our ternary operators and in our null coalescing. And that's about it.